Hello there everyone, today we're going to talk about the basic minimum criteria requirement to get started as a commercial pilot in India. Education qualification is that you guys need to have is 12th standard maths and physics, at least minimum passing percentage. It's not really required, but yes, some airlines do prefer you to have 60% and beyond, for example like Air India, Vistara. In case most of you are from commerce or arts stream, you guys can appear for physics and maths exam through NIOS, that is National Institute of Open Schooling, or even people who have an equivalent, for example like an engineering diploma, even they are qualified to get started with commercial pilot license. Let's assume you guys are done with your 12th standard maths and physics or anything that is equivalent to that. The next important step is to get done with your medical test. Now as a pilot, medical is the most important thing. You guys may be financially loaded or you may even have the brains to get done with all of your exams, but if you're medically unfit, sadly you cannot really become a pilot. So if you guys are done with your 12th standard, before investing any money, get done with your medicals. And especially people, whoever's watching, like whoever's not even in 12th, like if they're in 10th, 11th, or anyone planning to pursue aviation, I would suggest get done with your class 2 medicals. The reason to get it done earlier is because in case if there are any faults, you guys can get it treated earlier. So with all of that in mind, get started with your class 2 medical test. Now kindly bear in mind, class 2 medical test does not really guarantee you to have a CPL license. Class 2 medical test, you guys can just get started with your flying career. That is just to build up your hours through your CPL. To get your CPL issued, you need to have a class 1 medical test. Now class 1, you guys can do it only after your class 2 is done. Now the requirements to issue your CPL, that will cover up entirely in a different video altogether. Let's assume we're done with our class 2 medical test. Now the next important thing is to get your computer number issued. That is if your 12th standard maths and physics is done, because without that we cannot have a computer number issued. The reason you need to have a computer number is because without a computer number you guys cannot attempt any of the DGCA exams for commercial pilot license. There are 6 important subjects, that is navigation, meteorology, regulation, technical general and RTR. The 6th one is technical specific. That can be 1 paper or that can be 2 papers, or it can even be 3 papers depending on how many aircrafts you're going to fly. So on an average it is basically 2 papers, that is technical specific for a single engine aircraft and technical specific for a multi-engine aircraft. So yes, by the time you guys are applying for a computer number, I would suggest get started with ground classes, because on an average computer number takes roughly around 1 to 2 months to get issued. So in the meantime you guys can start preparing for ground subjects. Alright, so next most important question comes is, when do we start our flying? Flying, you guys most probably right now looking at the market, you guys should start only and only if you are done with every single paper. Like if you passed every single paper, you guys should go and start your flying. Because right now in India, most of the flying clubs do prioritize people only whose papers are all clear. Like in case, let's assume you guys are done with only 2-3 papers and you guys go for flying. Flying clubs are going to prioritize only those students whose papers are clear. So it's the best practice to get done with your papers and go for your flying. Because flying is mostly stress free. You guys do not want to be burdened over there with flying as well as with paper, that most of the time a lot of people are not able to balance it together. Now regarding flying requirement in India, that is given by DGCA, that is 200 hours of flying. That can be 185 hours on a single and 15 hours on multi, or you can do it entirely 200 hours on a single engine aircraft. Now both have their pros and cons that we'll talk about in an entirely different video.